From New York, Ebro in the morning on Hot
Ebro
97.
in the morning. Laura Stiles, beautiful. Wrestling sweatshirt Rosenberg.
Not T, yes.
Young Isaiah Thomas Jr. in the building. But you don't go by that. You don't go by that.
DJ Zeke.
DJ Zeke is his name. I've known him. When did you intern here at Hot 97? What year was that?
Oh,
How-
2003.
2003.
Yeah.
And how old were you then?
16.
16 years old.
Wow.
And I've known your dad for a long time. Your dad, Isaiah, is great. Great guy, and you've been working hard, and music was always your passion. And then you decided, I think, while you were at Hot 97, you was like, I think this DJ thing is where I'm going to focus.
Yes.
I remember those conversations.
Yes.
And you went and started putting in the work.
When I started putting in the work, I was always standing behind people watching, just like this. They're like, back up, back up. But I mean, honestly, being in the clubs, doing all the events, it's so exciting, and I get to really do what I love. I get to play all the songs that I grew up with and all the new bangers. So
And
I got the best job in the world.
Last time he was here, Ebro, remember he was here with Poe Johnson. They had a single out, so he's been working.
Got it. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
Poe. That's Lala's homie, too.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And you're dropping a new single.
Driving a new single comes out tomorrow, even though it's been out for like 2 weeks on the internet,
Okay.
called Dealing With It.
And who's on that?
Me.
Just you
And
solo.
I'm actually singing.
Oh, you're
whoa,
singing?
Whoa.
It's like heavy auto-tune, or you out here crooning
No,
like...
I'm out here Luther Vandross.
Oh, you got your band drop?
I got my grown and sexy, man.
So wait, obviously being Isaiah Thomas's son, people would think you would go on the path of basketball.
Well, I want everybody to know if anybody wants to have a game of horse, I'm down.
So you
But-
can hoop.
Oh, I can
Hooping.
hoop, but I tore my Achilles, separated my shoulder, broke my arm. It just
It wasn't meant to be.
Sports wasn't meant to be, man. You know?
So you were solid at it.
Oh, definitely.
What was like what level did you make it to as an athlete?
Oh, college.
Okay.
Won 2 national championships back in the day in AAU.
Oh, really? So you were a serious
Our
AAU
team
player.
was stacked though. We had Odin, Conley. We had like 5 NBA players. on
Wow.
our team.
You were on the team with
Tight.
Greg Oden.
Eric Gordon,
Oh, wow. Oh, you guys were loaded.
Daquan Cook. We were loaded.
And where did you grow up? How was your time split over the years?
Detroit, Toronto, Atlanta.
Wherever dad was.
Yeah, wherever that went. You know, get up and move, baby.
And then what year did you land here and make this home?
Landed in New York, 2003.
And that
Yeah,
was it. And then
that was it.
stuck around forever.
That was it. Everybody's trying to get me to go to LA, and I said no.
Why do you prefer New York to LA? Because LA is the move these days.
Well, New York got that grind. You know what I mean? People in LA don't work. That's just the truth. The
No.
day's over at 2:00. They want to go out, like go to their rooftop and have a moment and network. People network in LA too much. I network, every now and then in New York, but it's just a grind. You got to grind in New
And
York.
also, I think being a DJ, I mean, shout out to DJs in LA and DJs everywhere, but New York has a different type of club scene in some ways. Like, it's not just like a lounge or a cool spot.
Yeah.
Like, there's real underground, there's real clubs that where
yeah, you gotta know
really
your
gotta know
records.
what you're doing.
And
I
also,
know
there's
your
more
record.
work for DJs, being that the clubs stay open way later.
True.
Well, there's
So-
less pay for DJs also because there's more work.
Well, now, yeah. That's a whole different
Although the
conversation.
DJs I know in LA get paid shit. I think money for DJs is worse out there.
Mhm.
Man, we got a band together.
I know.
DJ
I feel
Union.
you. Yeah, DJ Union's a nice thought, actually.
So what's this song about? Talk to us about this record. Dealing with what?
Honestly, man, the song is about going. It really just is about my life growing up, and then obviously, I had sexual assault, sexual abuse when I was 12 years old, and I got raped again last year. So really, those things have influenced this record tremendously. It was a healing process, through traumas and dealing with therapy and going to doctors and writing songs and being in the studio. And, definitely there were moments when I was wilding out and just
Yeah.
didn't want to deal with anybody and hitting the bottle and drugs and whatever. But you got to go through all that, and then you got to say, okay, either I'm going to get through it, deal with it, or, I'm going to let it eat me, let it consume me.
Well, I
let's-
think it's very brave of him to share his story and to talk about it because Ebro, like it's happening more than people talk
It's
about.
happening more than people talk about. I mean, it's happening on college campuses across
Yeah.
the country. Young women obviously get the majority of the press, but I'm trying to bring light to male sexual assault. I mean, 1 in 6 men have been sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
It's a crazy stat,
That's
and
wild.
obviously men don't like to talk about it really because it's about the
Masculinity,
masculinity, the man,
Yes.
the man. But that's some trauma that people got to deal with.
So I don't know this part of your story, right? And in knowing you, that's just not a conversation we've ever had. 12 years old, you're sexually abused.
By who?
Yeah, by who? How?
I was actually basketball. We were actually coming back from states, I believe, AAU. We're in a van, and 3 boys just had their way.
Wow. You were so young.
Yeah.
And these were boys that were your age, older.
It was the older team. I was playing up, so I was playing on the 14 under team.
And
I was
so
12, yeah.
they, had their way. Obviously,
See, but
is this abuse? Like they were just putting their hands on your genitals?
No, it
or
wasn't
this
hands.
Was like,
This was I gave fellatio. My
you were forced
my
into
head
that?
was forced down, gagged, and it was not something that I asked for, wanted. I mean, it was really like in the back. It was like a dick showing contest. I don't know, and then it just my head got pushed
Then it went
down.
left.
And
Yeah.
then when you were a kid, did you talk about it? Did you tell somebody? Did you talk to your parents about it at
I
that
didn't.
time? Or you were embarrassed?
I didn't until high school. I did talk to therapy, and I talked to therapists about it. I didn't really comprehend what had happened.
Right.
And I didn't want to believe that, my teammates had done something that would affect me for the rest of my life.
Right.
And now, I don't, people ask me, why don't you, talk about them? Why don't you, whatever? And it's like, I don't know what they're doing in their life, and I don't want to find them. I don't even remember most of their names. So it's a very difficult thing to have to
Of course.
not be able to confront your
Were you picked on previous to that? Like, had you been made a target previous to that, or had people treated you cool because you're Isaiah Thomas's son? And
No, I mean, definitely, when you're playing on an inner city team, and you obviously have privilege. So they look at you definitely differently, but then, they look at you as a teammate at the same time. So there's definitely, that juxtaposition of, going on the road and me being able to order room service all the time. And
how long did that affect you when you weren't able to talk about it and you're just sort of living with a secret like that?
it affected me every day. I mean, every day, morning and night, you think about it. It's always in the back of your head. They're definitely, and then especially being raped last year. So that brought up everything that had happened earlier. And you're basically like reliving, and you're questioning every single action that has happened to you in your life. Was that wrong? Was that wrong? Was that assault? Was that rape? Was I okay with that? And you go through it. There were days literally where I was not getting out of bed. And I mean not getting out of bed. I mean literally I didn't get out of bed for 2 days, not go to the bathroom, just couldn't move.
Ibro, I read the story not too long ago about a woman also who met somebody at dating app. Because everybody nowadays people use dating apps for it's common, And she met the person she was on a dating app with, and he ended up beating her and raping her. And these things happen, and not enough people talk about it because people look at apps like it's okay, it's cool. You meet them online, and just take
Well,
that shot.
what I'm starting to say is, the technology is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's helping us in many ways, but we always have to remember technology has no soul. Technology has no heart.
And that's what happened with you, right?
Yeah, I met a guy on a dating app. We actually went on a date. Seemed like a cool dude. I actually invited him to my recording studio to have everybody,
Right.
give the okay. Okay. Then we went on a second date, and it turned left.
Left. And you had the date. Were you back at someone's apartment afterwards? How did it actually play out?
I actually got drugged, and I woke up in my own bed. Yeah, I woke up in my own bed, and it literally was like a Bill Cosby moment. He was pouring me a glass of water, like, it was nice seeing you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the fuck?
And did you pursue anything legally?
I didn't get out of bed for 2 days after that. I didn't know what to do. He deleted his profile on the Grindr. I didn't have his phone number, and that was it. So I honestly, the description I would give: brown eyes, black hair, white. Is that you?
Whoa.
Had hair, right?
Yeah,
So previous to that, the only way of
Roosevelt got hair.
communicating was through the That's how
Yeah.
you were communicating. So never texted him.
No,
never
I didn't. I
nothing.
mean, I didn't give him my number yet.
Right.
Right, you just gotten together twice, and these days you could communicate through an app, so you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to get someone's number right
Yeah.
away.
It's such an interesting thing. This is what I'm sitting here thinking and trying to understand because I've never been in a situation where I was completely overpowered. Like I've never lived that life before.
And think about it. He was drugged. And
Like never at a stage of my life did I feel
Well, you've always been on the bigger
right.
side of
Like I've never lived that.
right,
Like,
even
I've
from the time
never-
you were in 5th or 6th grade.
Never. There was never a time where I couldn't fight someone off, do some damage, physical damage to someone who I felt was a threat.
See, I always felt that. I mean, I've gotten in my share of fights. They've been publicized, but see, I always felt I can throw hands.
So you always,
But
at this point
at
in
the
your
same
life, you
time-
felt like you'd be comfortable, but you were
Oh,
drugged.
yeah. I was drugged.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that piece is different than the
No.
12-year-old piece.
Sure,
like,
sure.
Even at
Right.
12, where I fought 9th graders, 10th graders, you know, when you show up at junior high school and people are, you know, fucking with you because you're the new kids. Like I got suspended 25 times in 7th grade because I wasn't for it. The 8th grade, like I would just fight. I would fight. I've never. So I'm thinking of you at 12 and people overpowering you and wondering how. Like I want to know how that felt, like where you were overpowered in a way. And I guess that's the trauma, right? Like that's the beginning of the
Yeah,
trauma.
it definitely was the beginning of the trauma, and it's you're mentally put in a box where this is the only place you can go is pain. So how do you get through the pain? And at that age, you can't. I don't think that you can get through it without talking about it.
Right.
If you don't talk about it, then you're just screwed.
And so how does that play out now? You're openly gay, yes?
Yes.
And how does that play out now when you think about your sexuality and what happened to you as a 12-year-old? Did you know at 12 what your preference was?
I definitely knew it. I knew my parents even said they knew my whole life. I used to put on shows in the basement, just selling tickets and whatever. But sexuality is something that you don't want to really put on a victim and put on a individual. I mean,
Right.
whether you're sexuality, whether you're trans, whether you're gay, straight, bi, blue, yellow, purple, sexual assault and rape are happening across this country.
Yeah.
Period.
And you
To
gotta-
everyone.
Yeah.
But what I was initially thinking was could those kids sense that you were different and that you maybe were gay and that as a result were trying to send some sort of crazed
I don't
message?
know. I don't know. But I do know everybody was shocked when I came out as gay.
People were shocked.
People were shocked. My parents weren't, apparently. They're like-
Really? Even though they were not.
They weren't.
They weren't, but everyone else was.
Yeah.
So what now are you encouraging people to do? Like, I mean, seeing as you've been through this experience and what you went through last year.
I would say I'm encouraging people. Everybody's path is different to recovery. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes weeks, months, years, even for a victim to talk about it. But I'm encouraging everybody to find something healthy for their outlet. Mine has been to scream it out. Obviously, I went on Good Morning America and I told Robin. And honestly, I want to commend journalists for allowing me to come up here and share this story and share this message. I mean, it's this platform that you've given me is tremendous. But I'm encouraging people, man, like go out, talk about it. Talk about it. If you can't talk about it at home, get therapy, seek help.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm trying to, you know, put myself in your shoes, right? Of having to confront all of this stuff, right? And you know, it's very hard no matter what your sexuality is to deal with being raped, assaulted, all of that, right? You're dealing with all of it at the same time, right? It's it's layered, right? The trauma, being open about your sexuality, right? Picking your career path, right? Which being a DJ and not necessarily following your father's footsteps, I'm sure that had some weight associated with it when you decided not to pursue basketball further, right? Like all of these things, these are major life decisions that you've had to. How old are you now?
20. Oh, I'll be 29 in like 30 days. So.
Right. So I've known you for the last 15 years,
Yeah.
right? So that's a lot of weight and a lot of major life transitions in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah.
how is the music and how is the professional path you've chosen helping you deal with?
I mean, honestly, I mean, since even before working here, before in the radio station in Indianapolis, I mean, everything has just been, it's been, you know, like a knowledge dump just on me. Learning from y'all here at Hot, you know, going the label side, going the agency side. So the knowledge is always great to have that backbone, to have that help. But then going into the music, going into the artist side, you know, I started in production and writing, and that was cool, and creative direction with Lorianne, and that was awesome watching her. But the artist thing is something different, and I wasn't ready for it. So I've had to, it's take a minute for me to say, all right, Zeke, be Zeke. Don't be Josh, be Zeke. Zeke is, be the artist. And that was something that couldn't be taught. And even through this struggle, I think it's now brought me here.
So it's been a good journey. It's been a healthy journey.
I mean, I would change some things, but we got here, so I'm with it.
So today, this record that you're gonna put out, let's play the record. I wanna when it's available, iTunes, Spotify.
Well,
wherever.
apparently you can get it, you know, 2 weeks ago on MP3 Baby or whatever. So
it was already up there.
You know,
so
it's
people
there.
already getting it there.
I guess I made it. My record got leaked.
Yeah,
Right?
that's very
People
good
want
news.
it. People want it. And then clubs, like, are you residents at any clubs? Like, what's the gig as far as
I've
DJ?
really been getting these events, man. I mean, you know, like I said, money's trying, so we gotta go get these events. But I'm always in the clubs. As this Ebro said, I'm always out, so calling me out. But I mean, I'm always. I jumped on the set last week at this club called the Anthony. Literally, they looked at me. They're like, "You want to spin?" I'm like, "All right." And I just rocked that place about 6 in the morning when they stayed open. They shouldn't, but they did that. So.
And for people who want to
No,
follow you,
actually,
and
it was 3 in the morning. It wasn't 6. We don't want the club to have any problems, man.
Do you have like do you have a website, or where can they follow you if they want to go catch you at some gigs?
At Zeke_Thomas, ZEKE.
On all social.
All social. We
Tight.
keep it, you know, brand is tight.
Yeah.
Brand is tight.
Are you how many conversations have you had about this in public? I think Good Morning America, you're here.
Actually, no, with, you know, media, it's only been, I think, 3 thus far.
3.
And then, you know, everybody picked up on the story. But
And how tough is it that each time you have to talk through this?
I mean, obviously, you see, I definitely feel my whole body change. My whole body.
Yeah, I'm
just
watching you. You're
tenses.
fidgety. You're
It
fidgety
just
for sure.
Tenses. But when you speak it out, as many times as I've spoken it out,
And that's
in
why I'm
therapy,
asking. Yeah,
it's-
that's why I'm asking.
It's easy to talk about, but the body still. You get
As
the
a
rage.
natural.
You get the
How much anger do you have?
Honestly, like I told Robin what she didn't put in the interview, if I could find the guy, he'd be in a bad place.
So there's a lot of anger.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yo, man, I appreciate you sharing, bro.
No,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate
Very
y'all
cool
having
of
me
you
up
to
Yo,
there.
share.
much love to you. Send my love to your family, your mom and dad, too, man. I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate it.
Cheers.
We're proud of you.
Give it
Zeke
up,
Thomas.
DJ Zeke. Zeke Thomas, man. Yeah.